So, gotta go get our pieces, of course, just like always. Now, the thing is, what I was gonna say is that, some of the things the guy was saying, leads me to believe that he has no idea what the heck he's talking about, even though he claims to be a fan and claims to have played the original game and stuff like that. I mean, I don't see how that can really be the case. Because if he had... Oh, I mean, maybe he had. I mean, I'm not trying to call him a liar, per se, but, I mean, if he did, he evidently didn't get it. He doesn't understand that this story is all about Alice, that Wonderland is her mind and her heart. He doesn't understand, like, some of the fundamental elements of the story, both in the games and the original books. Or maybe he's just ignoring these elements. I don't know. I really don't know what to say with people like this. But, the fact that he just doesn't get it, despite claiming familiarity with the game and its history and Alice in Wonderland and all this, I mean, I don't know. And I want to talk a little bit about it because, like, for example, he made a claim that the story was just horrible and inconsistent and all this. No, actually it isn't. Trust me on this. We haven't gotten through it, and I've avoided saying certain things because I don't want to spoil certain things. But with respect to the characters, I've talked a little bit about some of the characters. Now, right now, we are in the part where Radcliffe, this is Radcliffe's main section of the story. I've talked a little bit about what his role was. This particular guy was claiming that that Radcliffe had, and really actually that all the characters have no real point in the game, that they're there like just for filler or something. I don't know exactly how to explain the things that he was saying because they're so nuts. I mean, they're so completely not what the game is about at all, and what the story is about at all. They just don't make any sense at all. The things he says don't make any sense at all. I mean, you would have to... Whoopsie. It seems to me like some people just do not understand the simple concept that this is the mind and heart of a traumatized young girl. Well, in this game, actually, it's a young woman. Although, in many ways, Alice's mind and heart are still very childlike. And probably for good reason, no matter what, aside from trauma or anything else. I mean, she was stuck in an asylum for 10 years. Which, let me make an aside real quick. It's very clear that she was in an asylum for 10 years. This is stated in the game. It's stated by the children, you might recall. However, this one guy actually claims that American McGee and the art book for the game claim that she was this game takes place a year after the first game. Now, what I can tell you is I don't have the art book yet. I will be getting it, but obviously the art book gets published not necessarily in keeping with the publishing schedule for the game. It is possible that there might be, some things that happen, but I don't think so, because I believe I've seen some other reviews with American McGee where he made it very clear that the game takes place 10 years later, that Alice is a young woman. I believe there's some interviews where he even mentioned her age and stuff like that. So I guess what I'm getting at is I'm not understanding where this guy could be mistaking his information. There's something goofy somewhere by somebody. That's something that's just not matching up. Alright, see, I thought that there was another piece over here, but okay, well, maybe not. Well, let's see. If we have to go back over there, we'll go back over there later. Not a big deal. Not really a big deal, anyway. Characters like Radcliffe, as an example, since we're on his part anyway, he is actually rather important in the story. He may prove to be more important if they ever get a chance to do another game, because, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, but you know, I'm trying to avoid spoilers again. So when I get a little bit later on, I might mention a few other ways that Radcliffe could be involved that I can think of. You know, but the key thing, I guess, in all of this is this game is not a shooter, and it's not just an action game. It's an action game that where the emphasis is on making you think. You know, it's kind of like everybody's entitled to an opinion, of course, but you know, for any of these people, whether it's another player or a so-called professional reviewer, to be making claims, you know, absolute claims about something that is just simply not true, makes no sense at all and doesn't help anybody. You know, if you want to criticize something, all right, but at least criticize it based on facts. And you know, I mean, like, the fact is, no, the background characters in the game, they're there for a reason. They have important roles to play, and overall, the game's story does a fine job in developing them at this point. Of course, I will also say that if you don't go about collecting the memories, which fill in, just like, you know, you're playing Alice, you know, she's trying to piece together her memories. You know, her mind is shattered. You know, if you don't go through all the necessary steps to do that, then yes, it's certainly very true that you may misunderstand a lot of things, and maybe that's what's going on with some of these people. Wouldn't be any different than in even a more action-oriented title, like, say, oh, I don't know, you know, maybe like a Fear or Doom 3 or something like that, or Bioshock, for example. That would be a good choice, where, you know, if you don't pick up the various audio tapes in Bioshock so you understand the background story, the events that went on and led up to the fall of Rapture, you know, the city where Bioshock takes place, then you aren't going to have a clue. And that game is not so much about thinking. I mean, the Bioshock pretty much gives you everything that you need to think about. Now, one of the things about this, I will, that's a criticism, and again, nobody mentions this, but the three, I think 3 or 4,
the gate
the first...
is opened. Now it appears that I can continue my ascent to the peak.
Yep, you can, Alice. The first 3 or 4 puzzles in the game all follow the exact same sequence to align the pieces, which is, you know, now, you know, if you wanted to criticize that, yes, that would be a valid criticism. But nobody mentions that, really. Yay, wasp. You know what's going to happen to this wasp? Exactly. Whoops. Tiny misjudgment there. Usually don't miss that one. But okay. Whatever. Whoopsie. Can't do that yet. Come back. There we go. Hey, wait a minute. Oh, there he is. that actually worked out kind of advantageously. Except for dying. That's not so advantageous. But anyway, so, you know, I think that this is really important to understand. I don't know, it's like some of these people, they put so much work into their so-called reviews, or, you know, some people call it analysis. At least my analysis is, you know, in keeping with the facts of the actual game. If he wants to cite something out of the art book or a specific review where, you know, it was said that oh yeah, I remember. Okay, never mind. Pig snout. Got my pig snout. Where it was said that the game takes place a year later. Alright, but that just isn't the case. Actually, I'll show you. Well, I'll show you. Well, I don't really need to show you. I can show you in the extra content, but and I think, you know,